Hello there, Sarah from Online Social Butterfly here. And today I wanted to pop in and do a little tutorial on using Meta Business Suite. Now this is an amazing tool that has come to you from Meta. Now if you're not sure who that is, let me explain to you who they are. Meta was the rebrand that Facebook undertook in late 2021. Now they are the parent company or the parent name for all of the brands that sit inside Meta, not simply Facebook. So this includes Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Oculus and WhatsApp. So they've got 5 brands inside that stable underneath the new brand Meta. So when you hear something called Meta, it refers to the parent company and all of those things. Now, Meta as a company is going to be adding a lot of different tools and features to their portfolio. And the idea is that it'll help you manage all of their brands or all of their platforms really easily. Now, Meta Business Suite is quite a new tool that they have rolled over. It used to be called Facebook Business Suite. It has a lot more features to it. And what I'm going to show you today is how can we use those features for you to better manage your Facebook and Instagram profiles or businesses. So I'm going to jump over and I'm going to walk you through how we use all of those key features. Okay. So I'm going to just jump back a little step so that you can see what's happening here. So this here is my Facebook business page, Online Social Butterfly. And you can see underneath it now, a lot of the features there are listed as Meta Business Suite. And this gives you a little bit of an overview of some of the features that are there. So if you're looking to get to Meta Business Suite, always go to your Facebook business page on your desktop and have a little look for it there. I will just mention and say that Meta Business Suite also has an app that you can use on your phone. And I do like to have this going when I'm sort of out and about and I want to check up on something. But today I'm going to walk you through using the desktop version of this. So we're going to jump over to Meta Business Suite and we're going to have a little look through it. So as you can see, this is the page that greets us when we arrive. And it's like a mothership. This is my bird's eye view of what is going on. So on this, I've got my menus on the left-hand side here, and I'm going to work through these to help you understand them. And then I've got on each menu some different things that I can look at. So you can see that on my MBS, I have my Online Social Butterfly Facebook page connected and my Online Social Butterfly Instagram account connected. So I can access and manage both of those all in one handy location. That's really good. And you can see that most people come here to create a post, and I'll be going through how you can do that, but this is a quick and easy way to get started. If you do want to direct back to your Facebook page or your Instagram, you can use either of these tools here. Now on this mothership homepage, we've got a few things that we can look at. So I've got a checklist here and I can open that out and it will tell me what needs my attention or what do I need to kind of action or take and have a look at. So it's got some posts and stories in there. I'll just flick back so we can jump back and have a look. If you have things like messages that are unread, or if you have tasks that need doing, for example, save drafts of posts, you will find those in here. And this is a great place to start where you can kind of catch up on anything that you may have missed out on looking at. On the right-hand side here, you can set your goals for your Facebook page and your Instagram profile. Now you can see that I set a goal for my business to grow my Facebook page likes for the month of September by 108, and I'm currently tracking at 85. The target I set for my Instagram account was to grow it by 400, and I'm currently tracking at 76. So these are really, really interesting to look at. And if I want to see how that's going, I can check my progress here. I would encourage you to set goals. These goals are not like you're going to be punished if you don't make it or anything like that, but it's really nice to see how things are progressing in your business. And when I set my goals, chose hard goals. So when you set them, you can choose like an easy, intermediate or a hard goal, and you can choose how you do that. So I love setting those goals and I love seeing how that's progressing when I log into MBS. It's really helpful. I can also have a little look at what are my recent posts and how are they working. I can have a look at my insights and as well as my audience and see how those are working. I can have a look at my what's new to MBS. So this is updated really regularly. I can then have a look at some of my other content, for example, my stories and my planner. So all of this is really a bird's eye view of all of the features that we see on our left-hand menu. So when you're looking at this, you want to start on the home, and then you'll notice that as you scroll through these, you can move through it, but you're best to go to your left-hand menu to see what information is available. So if we go to our notifications, that's the next option that I have here. You can see that it's got all of the things here that are notifications that have come up that are high priority. And sorry, I apologize, I clicked off it. And as I scroll through it, there's lots of notifications that may or may not warrant my attention. So it's always worth popping in there to have a look and see what's going on. Now, your inbox is really, really important. And one of the things that I love about MBS is it creates what's called a unified inbox. This means that I can see both of my Facebook PMs and my Instagram DMs all in the one location. So this saves you logging into both your page or your Instagram account to update messages. So you can see them all here, and you can see that I'm all caught up because on my Messenger here, there's nothing outstanding. And on my Instagram, there's nothing. But on my Facebook comments, there's some comments that I might have missed that I can go and check. Now, if I wanted to reply to one of these, I could put a little message there and it would send it via Instagram, even though I'm actually in MBS, which is really, really helpful. So these are great tools that you can use in your business to allow you to access and quickly respond to messages both on Instagram and Facebook. And I love this because it means I don't have to flick between the platforms. I don't have to be using the app. I can just jump on here and use them here. Now, some of the features of messages that you may or may not have seen, there's quite a lot of them. So with this person, so I'm looking at Gracie, who's just sent me a message. She was on my podcast and I can see more of her information. And I could also add labels to her. So she's a friend, so I've added her as a label. I could also add different labels that I could create that would signify she's a customer or she's a lead. And that's a really good way to manage your inbox. If you've got potential leads messaging you, it's always good to check those out. So you can add details and information, and this will really help you better understand who's coming into your business, who's messaging you, and are you managing that so you're not sort of letting business sit on the table, as it were. Now, under messaging, I use this a lot in my business, and I particularly like automated responses, which sit on the top right-hand screen here. So if I click on automated messages, I would encourage you to use these in your business. I absolutely love them and I use them a lot. So I have, and you've got your choices here, I have an instant reply. So when someone lands on either of my accounts, they get an immediate reply. I have some frequently asked questions. The away messages, if you're on holidays, you'd want to turn that on so people know. Turning on your page being recommended, contact information, location are great. I don't take appointments via my social media, mainly because I don't want people need to pay to book with me. So I have that turned off. I want to show you a couple of tools that I would strongly encourage you to check out and turn on, because these types of automations will save you time in your business. So what you really want to do is think of when people send you a message on Insta or Facebook, are they typically asking you similar types of questions, and how can you automate that? So if I click on the edit button, this allows me to go into this subsection within the inbox, some inbox automated responses, edit automation. So I can have this apply to just Messenger or Instagram or both by ticking those boxes there. So it says here, when this happens, a person opens a new chat and is selected, they will then ask me the following questions. So this is what I get asked the most. How do I work with me through this program? What online workshops do I have coming up? And one-on-one coaching, can you tell me more? So I know from just having a look through my messages, those are what people tend to ask me the most. So I have related the questions around that. So if we go to one-on-one coaching, and I'm going to edit it here, I have it as the question, one-on-one coaching, can you tell me more? And then it says, I would love to support you. You can work with me and you can book a discovery call. Here's the link. And it also creates a button, book a discovery call, and here's the link. So you can see then I have all of that question set up, including URLs that allow people to go to that. So I can come out of that, and I'm really happy with how that works. So we can come back to our automated responses. So I would encourage you to set up some frequently asked questions. I would also encourage you to set up some instant replies for people. And I'm going to click on that and show you that as well. Now, what I like to do with this is pop a little message in here and see how this, what I'm actually doing is I'm setting expectations, because when people message you, they quite often expect you to respond instantly, which is a bit unreasonable because we're all busy people and it's highly likely that you're not going to get back to them straight away. So if you set expectations, you haven't necessarily responded to their call or their message, but you have let them know when they can expect to hear from you. So again, set some expectations up around this and make sure you have this edited to be on when people drop by you. So I really love those, and I think it's really good to have these set up to help you manage your business better and to make life easier for yourself. You can see that there are lots of other choices that I can put in here. that I can try out as well. So I would recommend that you went through all of these, turned on some of them and set them up. And this is a task you don't have to do all the time. And if you are planning holidays, please set up your away message so that people know when they can expect to hear back from you. And at specific times of the year, this can be really important. So events like Christmas, this is a great thing to do. Right, so I'll jump back to my inbox. And the other thing I wanted to show you, so now we're back on our inbox. Next to automated responses is an available. So you can see that I'm currently available because it's got a little green button next to it. So what I've done is that I have got myself set to available, and I can set myself to be offline. So if we want to go and edit that schedule, I'll show you how to do it because it's really, really simple. All right. So where have they moved that to? All right. So there it is, under away. So I've got that I don't work on the weekends, so I'm not available on those times. And during a weekday, I only really respond to messages between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. So if you message me outside of those, you get this message that says, unfortunately, we're closed right now. We do value your message and we'll respond the next business day. And again, what I'm doing is setting expectations as to when people can expect to hear from me, so they know that when I'm going to be here and when I'm not. So I can turn that back on and make sure people get that message from me. So that's when I'm available, that's when I'm not, and that's the little message there. So that's a really handy feature that you want to check out under your automated responses. So you can see that, jump back to my inbox. Mine says I'm available at the moment because it's the middle of the day. And when I turn off, it'll say, have a red button next to it to say I'm no longer available. So these are some really good features on the inbox section of NBS that I would encourage you to spend some time reviewing and setting up. Our next menu is our posts and our stories. Now, the posts and stories section is really about reviewing what you have done. And there is a little bit of an overlap with the planner section. So posts and stories and planners, you can try them both out and you can see how you go, but both allow you to create posts and create stories. My preference is to create posts or stories in the planner section rather than in this section, which is called posts and stories. What I tend to use this for is to have a little look at how things have performed in my business. And this is incredibly helpful because what you're looking for with your social media content is looking for what has worked and how can I create more of that. So I can quickly have a little look and see that this post here, it's like a little happy Monday post, and this is one of my content ideas posts. So these always perform really, really well. I always put out content ideas on a Monday to help people on what they're going to post for the week ahead. That got a really good reach, lots of likes and lots of comments. So that says to me, keep doing that because people really like it. And that performed really well on Instagram, and it performs quite well on Facebook as well. So what you're looking for is trends. Now, trends are not one post. Trends are similar types of posts that you've used over time. And what we're looking for is all of these measurement tools. So reach, engagement, reactions, and comments. And all of these help us understand what are people interested in, what's working, and how can I create more of that type of content. Remember, you can create your posts and stories here on the top right using these buttons, but my preference, as I said, is to do that in the planner section. I find that easier to use, and I just find it somewhat more user-friendly. I don't know why. All right, so under the commerce section, this is essential for your business if you have a physical product. So you can only set up the commerce feature, which used to be Facebook Shop, and then it was called Facebook Store, and it has all these different names. It's all located here under the commerce section in NBS. Now, as you can see, it says here, Online Social Butterfly is not approved for shopping on Instagram. Now, the reason for that is simple. I do not sell physical products. I sell digital products, and I am a service-based business. So don't try and set it up if that is you. However, if you have a physical product, that's something that people can touch and feel, I would strongly advocate that you spend a good amount of time setting up the commerce in NBS. Now, this has improved significantly over time because it allows you to integrate it with your website. So whether that's Shopify or WooCommerce or whatever, BigCommerce, whatever you're using, it talks to your website. So if you have a price rise on your website, your NBS commerce will update to reflect that current pricing. Now, this really helps people buy from your social media posts. particularly on Instagram. Okay, so on Instagram, when you create a post and you have your commerce set up, you can tag a product, and the research is unequivocal that people are more likely to buy if they can see the product there than if they have to click through to your website to get all of that information. So I can't go through all of this because I'm not set up to do it, but it is very straightforward and very simple. This has had lots of reincarnations, and it works significantly better now than it did in the past. So you can see you can set up catalogs, shops, promotions, and you can even get insights on how it's actually working. So my recommendation would be to set aside some time, set this up, and see how it goes for you in your business. It's a really great tool. Okay, so we're going to move next down to our planner. And as I mentioned, this is one of my favorite tools that I use in my business to schedule posts in advance. So you can see that it, just like under posts and stories, it does show me what I have already created. It doesn't give me that data in terms of how it performed. It gives me a little bit of like the likes and the comments there, but it doesn't give me that breakdown like it does in posts and stories. So posts and stories section is more around how are things going. This section is more about what did I just schedule and what have I got coming up. So I like to use that, kind of see what's coming up. I use a lot of scheduling tools. So I use Recur Post. So I obviously don't have anything scheduled in advance. But what I love this for is when I want to create a post or a story and schedule it, because it has some significant advantages. So if I go up here to create, and I'm going to create a post in this instant, and it's really simple to use and it's really, really effective. So with this, what we want to do is think about our post that we want to create. Now you can create it for your two accounts. So you can create it for Facebook and Insta at the same time by ticking it. And you can also post it to several groups that you might be a member of at the same time, which is really helpful if you want to kind of be nice and efficient. So let's pretend that I'm doing a post. I'm just going to call it test promo post. All right, and I can put my text in there and I can add a photo. So I'm just going to upload a photo on my desktop. Let's just see what I've got on there. Cool. All right, so I'm just going to put a photo up of a workshop that I've got coming up. So then it's going to show that. So over on the right-hand side here, it'll always show me a preview, and I can change the preview to what it might look like on a mobile versus a desktop. So here's my image. Here's my test promo post, which is the content that's going to go with it. Now, here's where things get really cool and exciting. So you can now customize these posts according to the platform that you're scheduling on. Now, when you are posting on Facebook, it is completely acceptable to put a link in your post because the link will work. When you are scheduling things to Instagram, the link in a post will not work. It is not clickable. And further, Instagram have deactivated it so someone cannot copy and paste that link either. So what you want to keep in mind is that if you are putting a post up with a link, you need to put the link in your bio on your Instagram feed. And then when you write the post, and I go to Instagram, I can put a little comment to say, to book now, go to the link in my bio. So when you see that, that's really, really helpful. So that's one of two things that we're going to customize according to the platform. The other thing that we want to customize is our hashtags. Now on Facebook, we only want 4 to 5 hashtags as a maximum. On Instagram, you want 30 hashtags. Now, this is one of the things I think that MBS does so well, and it will save you so much time. So on Facebook, I can click on the hashtags. Now, this is a post that's going to be about some training. So I can type in the word training and see what comes up. And it gives me lots of choices. So the word training, it's been used on Facebook and Insta, so I might want to go that. I might have training day, I might have training mode, and I might have training courses. And I can keep scrolling down, and you can see within a few seconds, I've got 6 hashtags ready to go in record speed. Now, the good thing about this is that instead of wasting hours and hours doing your research using separate research tools, you can just jump into MBS and use them really simply here. Now, as a rule of thumb, on Facebook, as I said, 4 to 5 hashtags. On Instagram, we want to use about 30, but it would be my recommendation that you don't use any hashtags that have been used over 500,000 times. And the reason for that is simple. We want people to be able to see our posts and see our hashtags. And if they are overused, we will vanish into the kind of busyness and popularity of that kind of content. So we don't want to be using hashtags that have millions of uses because they are not going to help grow our reach and our following. So please keep that in mind. So we've now got our hashtags, we've got our post, and what we can then do is we can click on optimal times, And we can then see that it says the optimal times for Facebook are 6 p.m. and Instagram are 6 p.m. So I can choose that there. I can then schedule it in advance. So I can pop a date and a time in it and I can save it. And I can then schedule that post here. So if I schedule that post, that will now go out onto both my social media accounts on that date and time that I chose, which is the 14th of September at 3:01 p.m. So you can see this is a great feature to be able to schedule posts in advance and to get it done feeling really, really confident about that. Now I'm just going to discard that and just show you briefly that you can also create stories in here. This feature is not fabulous. And the reason I say that is simple is if you're creating stories on Insta or Facebook, it is so feature rich. Whereas if I'm going to add it here, so I'm just going to show you it's going to tell me this is the wrong dimensions, but that's okay. So I'm going to upload an image and then I'm then going to create a story based on that. So like on Insta, it should fill out the background for me. But there are quite a few features that are missing, and especially if you use those like interactive features like poll. So now it's filled my image to there. And I can then add text and stickers. You can only have a swipe up link if you have more than 10,000 followers on Instagram. That feature is not available to you if you have less. The one thing that I think is really unfortunate that is missing is that on Instagram, you can now embed a link into your stories so people can click through to it. And that feature is simply not available if you use MBS to schedule your stories. However, you might find that I'm okay not doing that. Not all of my stories have got links in them. So if that's the case, then you definitely want to use this feature to help you schedule your stories in advance. So as I said, not as many features. I'm a bit of a fanatic for lots of features, and you can see that the stickers are really basic. There's no I love GIFs, and there's none of those that are available. So if that's going to help you, definitely check it out. But just keep in mind it is not as feature rich as when we might have used something like scheduling natively in Instagram. So I'm going to cancel that story and I'm going to log out of it. We're going to now have a little look at ads, and I want to be really clear about this. I don't love creating my ads in here. This is really where you would go, and it's going to pull up in a second, and it's going to tell you how my ads are going. So at the moment, it's telling me that my ads in the last 60 days, I don't know if that's actually the correct account. Oh, look, it doesn't matter. I don't think that's right. Yeah, that's the wrong account, I'd say. So in the last 60 days, this is what I've spent on ads. This is how many people they've reached. This is how it's all going. It'll also show me all of my ads here. So I can click on that and it will show me the ads and how they're performing. Yeah, it's not connected to my right account. Like lots of people, I have multiple ads manager accounts. Now, if you click on create ad, this comes up with this really kind of quick create feature. And I'm not a fan of this at all. I don't find it very helpful. I don't find it really useful. It is my advice if you want to be running ads like meta ads on Facebook, Insta, Messenger, and Audience Network, that you should do it through Ads Manager. And if you're not sure where to locate that, just type into Google Facebook Ads Manager and I'll show you how it goes. So if I just type in here, Facebook Ads Manager, it'll come up with this search result here. And then when I get there, it gives me a little button here that says go to Ads Manager. It's actually quite a big button. And then I'll click on here. And as you can see, it's got a couple of different accounts, and those are not ones that I'm currently using. And I would actually go to my business manager and go to the correct business account. So it is much better if you're using ads not to do it through MBS. It is a really limited feature that simply doesn't work as well as I would like it to when I'm using Ads Manager. So keep that in mind. All right, next menu item is our insights. And these are some of my favorite because to me, data and information about our audience is absolutely gold. So what I wanted to show you is what this information looks like. And obviously you get to see inside my business so you can see how this is performing. So as soon as you click on Insights, it gives you a little summary of your last week in review. So it says you published 40 pieces of content, you set some goals, and here's your results. So last week I reached 41,000 people on Facebook, 21,000 on Instagram, and this is my growth in my audience. So it's a super cool top line. I can go to view all insights, or I can simply click off, and it will then take me to the insights section in MBS. So this here again, my top line in terms of my paid reach. So there's my ads. And you can see, interestingly enough, this is why I don't like that ads, because now it's connecting to the correct account. It's showing my correct ad. And yet when I was in here, it wasn't showing that at all. So it's not working properly is my short comment to that. Now, this is what I love. It's information about my audience. Now, again, this is all top line results, a bit like the home section. And if we want to dive in a bit deeper, we can drill down here. So starting with the goals, again, I can see my progress, and I can also in the top right set a new goal. So I wanted to do that to show you how that works. So I've got two options. I can select a goal or I can select a plan. So I can have goals for both of my platforms, and then I can choose with my platform whether I go for reach or followers. I'm going to go for followers, and then I'm going to go next. And then it says, do I want to start? Am I starter, an intermediate, and advanced? I'm going to go advanced because I'm feeling pretty confident, and I'm going to start it today. The same with Instagram. I might go advanced and I'm going to start it today. So then it's going to reset my goal that you were looking at before. And it's now going to tell me how I'm progressing, which means I'm making because I've reset the goal, they're both back at 0. But I'm a bit of I like to kind of, measure things and see how they're going. So I love this kind of feature. I think it's really good. So if we go to our results on the left-hand side, this tells me what my page reach is. And you can see it now includes paid ads. So it's quite a lot higher than when we were just looking at my organic results. So obviously my reach across both is good. What I'm always looking for is my numbers here to be in the green. I don't want numbers to be in red. So my Facebook page visits is down slightly, not a lot, so I won't lose sleep over that. My likes is up, and my impressions for paid reach and paid impressions is both up as well. And you can see this number here is completely different to the number that was in ads, because this is now connected to my correct account. So in the last 30 days, I've spent 2,200 on ads, which is, I know that's correct. So this is now pulling the correct data, whereas in here, I was pulling some weird information. Again, this is one of the reasons I don't like ads inside MBS. Let's go to audience and have a look at this, because this is super important. Whenever you're doing any marketing, it is mission critical that you know who your audience is, who are you speaking to, and how do you help them. So I always like to think about who my audience is, and I have a really strong idea about who my audience is. So I know that my audience is mainly female business owners aged 35 to 55. Now, when I look at my followers on my Facebook page and my Instagram, you can see that my largest audience are those two groups, which says that I'm doing a good job of attracting my ideal customers to my social media. Happy days. If this is completely different to what you think it is, please use something like Google Analytics to cross-check that information to see who you are attracting to your business. Now, this here is also really helpful in terms of your top cities and your top countries. Now, on a business like mine, I can sell things globally. So I'm not restricted to just having myself based in Perth or in Australia. But Perth is my hometown, so it makes good sense that that would be where most of my followers come from, or like 30% of my Facebook and 18% of my Insta come from Perth, because that's where I am. And that's all good. So that's always useful information just to double check if you've attracted the right people and who you think you should be working with. The feedback is something that you can just see here. So if I've had feedback that there's something wrong with my page, like someone's reported it, that will show up in there. And if I've responded. Now, benchmarking is a tool that lots of people don't know exists, and it's been around for quite a long time. Now, I quite like to look at this because I like to see how is my business performing on social media compared to some of the big names. So I've put myself up against HubSpot, and as you can see, they've got 1.2 million page likes, and they were up 4,500 last month. I've then got Amy Porterfield, who's got 329,000 fans, and she went up actually more than them last month. So that's really interesting. And then I've got my business and where that benchmarks there. I can add more pages down here as well. And let me just tell you, people don't know if you are following their page. So don't be afraid to follow other pages to see how they're going, because it's nice to benchmark yourself against people that might be your competitors or the people that might exist in your industry. So really good to do that. There's more content information here. In terms of how your content is performing. And this is very top line information. Again, it takes it a little bit deeper than posts and stories, which are on individual pieces of content. This is on your total content. And you can see organic reach is down from the last 90 days versus the one before. And organic posts in terms of the number of posts is down as well. So maybe I need to do a bit of work on that. And then there's got medium on how people are looking at different types of content and which one performed the best. So this post performed the best. So on the 9th of September, I had a post that reached 3,000 people, which is really, really great. And then another post, which was like a celebration, and that reached 8,400% more reactions. So these are always handy to see what your top performing posts are. If we dig into content, this takes it a little bit deeper. And this again is really similar to that section in posts and stories, which give us that overview of our content and how it is performing, which I think is interesting as well. Okay, so I'm just going to scooch through to all of our tools here. So if I click on this, this is all of the tools that you can use in here. And as you can see, it breaks them down into a little bit more detail. It does also allow you to dive into Ads Manager here, which makes me very happy because that's where I like to go. And it does also allow you to dive in and manage things like your business apps, your page settings, that kind of thing. So under those the hamburger menu here, there's a lot more information in here about where you can go. These are all very specific to your page and to your business. So lots of tools available in there as well. And those don't necessarily need you to visit them regularly. Some of them are kind of like, have I set up my billing? Have I set up my page correctly? And am I happy with that? I probably don't need to go back in there and revisit it and recheck it. So lots going on inside MBS. That's really, really helpful. That's got lots for you to use and to try out. So I hope that you found this tutorial really informative. What my advice would be is to go into MBS, have a little navigate around, even if you come back and watch this tutorial again and walk yourself through it really, really slowly. Remember, you can't break it, okay? This tool has been set up to help you with your business, to help drive your business and to help you have that kind of act like a business manager and manage your social media, your Facebook and your Instagram from a top line view instead of just jumping into the platforms, looking at your account on a day-to-day basis. I really like MBS. As I said, I love setting those kind of objectives for myself and seeing if I can achieve them. I enjoy going in there to see, am I attracting the right kind of people to my content? How is that all working? How can I do better? So I hope that you found today's class useful, and I look forward to hearing how you've got on with all of that.